Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at a new Lattafa. It's Lattafa Maahir Legacy. All right, so Maahir Legacy is from the House of Lattafa. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and you can pick this bad boy up for $38 at places like Fragrance Buy. I'm gonna have a link down in the description if you decide you wanna check this one out. Also have a coupon code, save yourself $5 off your first purchase at Fragrance Buy if you decide you wanna shop with them. Presentation on this, pretty nice, I'd say, for the most part. The box on this is kind of a fairly flimsy style of cardboard. It was damaged in transit, which I wasn't too happy about, but it doesn't really matter. It's a really thin style of cardboard. It is a slide-off cover, but like I said, very flimsy style of box. Has the bottle sitting through this nice little mirror, so nice little added touch to it right there. And it does have kind of a pull-off door there for our fragrance bottle sitting in there all nice and cozy with this beautiful little ribbon on top to keep it nice and secure in there. But overall, box, pretty cheap looking, nothing too special, but I do like this bottle. So if you're familiar with the Maahir line, this is one of the flankers from the original Maahir. There's Maahir Black, and now we have the brand new Legacy, which was just recently released. So it has that typical horse head shape cap to it, nice thick heavy metal. Cool shape to this bottle. I do kind of like that. It's not your typical style of bottle, and it is a fingerprint magnet, being a pure silver yet very heavy style of bottle. Atomizer on this is a pretty decent. You get decent distribution, nice wide puffs on this. So overall presentation on this, I am quite happy with it. I don't know, I do like this horse head style of bottle. Some people might think this is tacky or cheesy, but I do not. I kind of like it. So overall presentation, good job, Lattafa. So if you were wondering what Lattafa's Maahir Legacy smells like, you have come to the right place, because I'm about to tell you. But first, a fun fact. Through my linguistic research skills, I have found that the term Maahir, the name of this fragrance, refers to something along the lines of skilled or skillful. So that's what this is named after. So there you go. There's your fun fact from your boy Post Cologne. Fragrance reviews, cultural references, translations, handsome face. Click like and subscribe. So the notes listed for Lattafa's Maahir Legacy were ridiculously hard to find. I looked all over the internet to try and get an official note breakdown of this. I think Fragrance Buy might be one of the only places that's selling this, and they have they don't even have a picture of this up on their website. Even on the Lattafa websites, they had the note breakdown for Lattafa's Maahir Black, which if you're familiar with that fragrance, very dark, very bold, spicy, smoky, just mysterious style of fragrance. And this one goes in the complete opposite direction. So I actually had to reach out to Lattafa themselves and get a full confirmation of what their note breakdown was. And here are some of the notes that they gave me from the official list. We got lime, grapefruit, pineapple, lavender, spearmint, juniper berry, rosemary, olibanum, geranium, pepper, vetiver, cashmere, ambroxan, oak moss, and tonka. So we got a whole cornucopia of different fragrance notes that's listed in this, but let me tell you what I get from this fragrance. In the opening, you get a very sharp, energizing, invigorating style of those citruses. The one that comes forward the most for me is that lime, and there's a very strong, sharp, citrusy style of lime. That grapefruit in there just accentuates things, along with that pineapple adds just a little bit more of a citrus sweetness to it, and you also get that spearmint that's there. So the spearmint adds that kind of fresh spiciness, along with that kind of that minty profile, a little bit of sweetness that's kind of mixed in there, but it's a very sharp citrus, almost kind of like a zesty sort of feel to it, like kind of the peel or the zest of that lime. That's how this one comes through. It's not just the juice, it's really that kind of essence, that zestiness of that citrus. So really energizing, really invigorating, tickle your nose style of citrus. As this kind of opens up, you get more of those kind of aromatics coming through. You get that kind of clean lavender, giving it that kind of fresh, clean sort of smell, but you also get that geranium that mixes in there, giving it kind of a greenness, but also kind of elevating that minty profile to it. And you get that juniper berry and some of those other green aromatics, just adding a little bit of greenness to it, giving it that extra aromatic kind of boost, that extra push. And it's really, really nice. Very fresh, citrusy, clean style of fragrance. As this kind of opens up a little more, you get this nice kind of lemongrass appeal that comes through. So I believe it's from the vetiver kind of coming through. You get a little bit of woods, a tiny bit of woods coming through, but you really get this kind of vibe of this lemongrass. So very, again, citrusy with kind of a greenness to it that starts to come through, but you also get this sweetness that's coming from that spearmint, a little bit of that ambroxan, and then in the dry down, you get a little bit more of that kind of earthy, woody sort of feel, but through and through, this is a citrus bomb from the beginning right down to the dry down. You just get a little bit of a toned down citrus as you get to that dry down, a little bit more woods coming through, that touch of sweetness, just to kind of round out that sharpness of that citrus. Because the citrus, like I said twice or 3 times now, it's very, very sharp in the opening. And so that sweetness and that kind of earthiness, that lemongrass, just kind of takes that sharpness out of it, so this doesn't come across as like a floor cleaner in terms of how aggressive it can be. So it really tones it down, it balances things out really nice. And this is just an awesome, sporty, refreshing, freshy style fragrance, and it's a nice change of pace from the Lattafa line. You don't see many freshies from Middle Eastern houses. This might be the first citrus forward style of Lattafa fragrance I've come across, and I really enjoy it. So when it comes to the performance of Lattafa's Maahir Legacy, I get average performance from this, especially for a freshie. It performs fairly well. I get about 5 hours off my skin, and if I get some on my clothes, I do push that out a little bit further. I've worn this to the gym a handful of times, so getting it on my gym clothes has pushed that out. I'll pick up my shirt like later in the afternoon or evening, and I still get hints of that citrus, that woods, that kind of lemongrassy sort of vibe going on to it. So this does last fairly good for a fresh fragrance. In terms of projection, this does project really well for the first hour and a half. It does push off. It has that sharp citrus, maybe that little bit of an ambroxan push from the base, and that kind of fresh spiciness really does push off. People are going to smell you for the first hour and a half, and then it does settle back in a little bit closer. But overall, I'd say for a fresh fragrance, this performs about average, maybe even a little bit above average, but I'm definitely not disappointed with this. I think it performs very well. So when it comes to the where and when, I think Lattafa's Maahir Legacy would be most appropriate. This just has spring, summer vibes written all over it, especially summer. I could just see this being such a great high heat style of fragrance. Just has that energizing, refreshing, rejuvenating style of scent accord to it, but also those kind of green notes in there, that lemongrass, that little kind of touch of light woods that's in there. Does have that kind of spring vibe, that kind of rejuvenating sort of feel, that kind of regrowth, new season sort of vibe going on to it. So I think spring and summer is where this is going to sing, but the high heat, I just can't wait to wear this in the high heat. I think this is going to be a really awesome fragrance. I think this is going to really push off when it gets activated by that heat. So definitely a spring, summer style of fragrance. In terms of occasions, I definitely think this is like a poolside, out on a patio for lunch, running errands, cocktail party in the evening, casual style of fragrance. I think you can wear this to the office. It's a very pleasant, mass appealing, inoffensive style of scent accord to it. It's just got that fresh, clean, zesty sort of citrus going on to it with those aromatics that you're not going to offend anybody. Just don't overdo it on the sprays. I think for the first hour and a half, if you go buck wild with this at the office, then you might be just blasting people with your zesty citrus. So be a little bit careful on the sprays, but I think office appropriate for sure. And I've been wearing to the gym all week long, and it does great at the gym. Gives you that kind of little extra boost, little extra motivation, because it is so fresh and invigorating. Definitely think great casual fragrance, office and gym for sure. So my overall thoughts on Lattafa's Maahir Silver. I think this is a great freshy fragrance. It's a nice change of pace from the Lattafa house. You don't see many fresh fragrances coming out of the Middle Eastern brands, especially from Lattafa. You usually get those kind of dark, smoky, oody, those kind of fragrances, but this is a nice change of pace. This is a mass appeal, fairly versatile style of fragrance, has that kind of Western designer feel when it comes to scent accords. This reminds me a little bit of Mercedes-Benz Cologne, which I believe is discontinued now, a little hard to find. I'm not saying this is a clone of that, but it's in that same genre in terms of that really forward citrus, that really kind of just lively, energetic kind of opening to it, and that kind of aromatic nature. It does kind of remind me of the Mercedes-Benz Cologne, as well as kind of that Jimmy Choo Man Ice sort of feel. That citron and Jimmy Choo Man Ice, very aggressive, very forward, very, again, lively and energetic. There's no citron in this, but it's the same neighborhood is what I'm trying to say. So it's in the neighborhood of those kind of fragrances, same sort of genre, and I enjoy those fragrances quite a bit, and I really enjoy this one as well. Performance on this, like I said, pretty good. I'm not complaining about the performance for a fresh fragrance. I think this does fairly well. I am gonna say for $38, this might be a little bit overpriced right now. The other Maahirs, the Maahir Black and the Maahir, are like $15, maybe $20 less than this one. And I don't know if that's necessarily warranted. I don't know if this is because it's just a new fragrance and the price is gonna drop down, or if it's just inflation, or what the case is. I don't work for the fragrance buy pricing department. Couldn't tell you, but I think maybe wait for this one to kind of drop in price. I think $38 is just because it's a new arrival. It might be just kind of has that elevated price level right now, and it will come back down. But overall, $38 is a pretty affordable fragrance. I think the quality on this is really great. And compared to other designer fragrances or niche house fragrances, I think this is a steal of a deal. But like I said, buyer beware. This could come down in price and you might want to hold off and wait to purchase it at that point. But again, $38, I think this is well worth it. A really great fresh fragrance. Definitely worth checking out. That's Lattafa's Maahir Legacy. And I want to hear from you guys. What's one of your favorite like citrus forward style fragrances? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.